energy and climate communicators often come from technical or policy backgrounds, and assuming that evidence and logic will drive behavior. But climate action isn't just a knowledge problem, it's a value and trust problem. So without relevance, empathy, and narratives, even the most compelling facts fail to move people or fail to make people understand what we're trying to convey.
I think the main mistake is that often the focus is on the technology alone or on energy or climate. But I think the conversation as a communicator needs to be wider. You need to connect it to jobs, you need to connect it to economic development, you need to connect it to health benefits. You need to connect it at an individual level, at a family level, at a community level for it to have greater uptake.
So, most of the climate narrative, when we think about it's often talks about doom and gloom. Uh, and it misses out on the solutions lens. So, rather than talking about doom and gloom, I think we got to move beyond that. And especially thinking from the lens of climate communications, we got to base our comms on the principles of first, it has to be solutions focused. We have to present clear and actionable solutions which would inspire agency and hope about the crisis. Then it has to be people centric. Promoting natives about climate or energy that keep communities and local issues at their core are important because they stir empathy and action.
One common mistake is to narrowly frame the transition as renewables versus fossil fuels. And the change needed is to show it as a broader movement around efficiency, smarter consumption, and economic growth. Another common mistake that we usually see is presentation of numbers without context. And how it can be addressed is through simple, compelling data and visualization.
According to me, energy or power sector itself involves a lot of technical jargons which we as journalists and communicators need to declutter uh, and present in a way a layman would understand and have a grasp on it. Otherwise, why should they care, right?
What we tend to do usually, we overcomplicate things because of the kind of jargons and technicalities and the data driven thing that usually accompanies this kind of communication. We tend to kind of complicate our lives more, but the idea is not to drown audiences in all this. Or what we as communicators need to do is take a step back and simplify it for them, and again kind of communicate on what is relevant for them. So every piece of communication that we are taking to our stakeholders need to be seen that they are, it is snackable, it is something that they are able to understand, it's comprehensible or not.
One common mistake I see in how energy or climate issues are communicated is firstly too much jargon. So the technical pieces have to be made real and relatable. Another one is treating the energy story as a brand story and as a project update about the company, which it can be, but the energy transition, it's making a lot of changes. So it's changing lives, it's shaping jobs, it's helping communities, and that nuance needs to find a place as well. So think beyond the jargon and think about communicating the human story and the progress and innovation piece in there.